So I was watching some of my favorite YouTube creators the other day, most of them being homemaking and homesteading creators. And I was beginning to feel rather dissatisfied all of a sudden. So many of the creators I watch, they live in the country, on acreage usually, with multiple heads of livestock and these huge, beautiful, lush gardens. And no, I'm not trying to say or put down these creators because their content is really inspiring and motivating and very informative. I mean, that's why I watch their videos. While watching these videos, I'm filled with such a strong desire and almost a homesickness for a homestead and land and wide open spaces. But then I look around at my surroundings, at our cozy little house at the end of the cul-de-sac, and I remind myself that even though we live in town on very little acreage, we don't even live on an acre of land. I think it's about 5,500 square feet lot. So yeah, I mean, factor the house in there, and we don't have much land. But even then, there are still homesteading things that I can do here on our little tiny lot. Our dream is to someday have land, hopefully within the next couple of years, but we need to be patient and find contentment with where we're at right now. So I grew up on a homestead. My parents have been homesteading long before it was cool. So I grew up with a great appreciation for self-sufficiency. I learned how to can, to freeze, to dehydrate dry food. I've been baking bread since I was 10. The first picture my husband ever saw of me was me hand milking our family milk cow. Now, when we got married, that was the first time I ever lived outside the country, much less in a city. I was in Denver, one of the worst places to live, in my opinion. We had a tiny one-bedroom apartment, and after that, a 3-bedroom townhome. Neither of them had yards, but I still found ways to put everything I had learned growing up on my family's homestead to good use. I bought peaches and pears in bulk, and I canned them. I joined a community garden, and I grew lots of greens. I grew peas and beans, tomatoes, cucumbers, pumpkins, and I made sauces, and I made pickles. If there was a good deal on berries at our local grocery store, I would buy a bunch of them, and I would make jam. All things I did while we had zero land to cultivate. Now, fast forwarding to today, we will be celebrating our first year in this house, and I definitely took a really big step back from gardening just because I knew we'd be pretty busy working on the house, which we have been, and I also have a new baby. But I did manage to grow some tomatoes, as you saw at the beginning of this video. I do miss having a larger garden. This is by far the smallest garden I have had since being married and moving away from home, and I do miss it. Gardening, it's an amazing thing to do. The pride I feel in making a meal with all food from our own garden, it can't be described. I feel so accomplished and confident in my skills. But anyways, I say all of this because I know there are others out there in a very similar situation who you may want to grow your own food and preserve their own food, but don't necessarily have the space for it. Now, there are still things you can do to learn and uphold those homesteading values. Definitely look into community gardens near you. I would highly recommend churches, especially because oftentimes they have free community gardens, and a lot of times they're empty. Like, they have so many open, empty lots. But if that's not an option, just hop on the internet, look them up. I guarantee you have a community garden near you. And they're oftentimes really affordable, sometimes free, like the church community gardens near us. Also, invest in some high quality equipment. Invest in a large stock pot. I see them all the time at thrift stores for very cheap. I feel like there's always several at our local thrift store. But you can use that to learn how to water bath can. Buy herbs in bulk and dehydrate them in your oven. You don't even need a dehydrator. You don't need anything fancy. You can do it in your oven. You don't need fancy equipment to do these things. Oftentimes you just need a few simple, basic, I recommend high quality items to get started, such as a large stock pot. You can do so much with that. And also a Instant Pot. You can do a lot with an Instant Pot. It's easy to get stuck in your discontentment, and I understand it. I do it all the time. It's so hard, especially when we're exposed to social media and all these beautiful homes and beautiful gardens. It's so easy to compare and honestly become a bit jealous of other people's blessings. But rather than just thinking, oh, well, I don't have land or a cow or chickens or a garden, so I can't do anything. Just try to enjoy where you're at right now and do what you can with what you have. There are things you can do, I guarantee it. Even if you're in an apartment, whatever it may be, wherever you're at right now, I guarantee you there's things you can do. It just might not be as easy or as aesthetic as a lot of the people portray it to be on Instagram or TikTok. I'm telling you all of this to try and motivate you guys and to inspire you and comfort you that, you know, where you're at right now, even if it's not where you want to be or where you hope to be in a few years, exercise those muscles now. So that way when you do have land, if that's something that you want, you'll have some of the skills already and you won't be starting from ground zero. So for supper tonight, I made one of our favorites, egg roll in a bowl, and you're just going to start by browning a pound of ground meat. I used beef and about a tablespoon of coconut oil. While that's cooking, I roughly chopped a half a cabbage, a small cabbage, red or green, or both, it doesn't really matter, and give it a good wash. I then also chopped about 2 handfuls of some pre-washed dino kale. I then added 2 teaspoons of ginger and 8 cloves of minced garlic to my meat, gave that a good stir before adding in 2 teaspoons of gochujang and 2 teaspoons of sriracha sauce. I then stirred that all together before adding my cabbage and kale on top and then covering with a lid and leaving that on medium-low heat for roughly 10 minutes or so until the cabbage is wilted and soft. And then for this delicious sauce, I mixed together 1/3 cup of Greek yogurt, 1/4 cup of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of sriracha sauce, and 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. And you could totally also add in some gochujang to this. I did not. I think that would have been a little too spicy for us. And finally, I just fried up some eggs to top the cabbage mixture, and I drizzled the sauce over top. Some arugula served on the side makes this such a great and fresh summer meal. I will be sure to include a written recipe down below. But I want to thank you guys for being here with me today and listening to me ramble about the things that have been on my mind lately. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all next week. Take care.